What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of A Talk on Titan. I am here, as usual, with Mr. Ben Goddard. What's up, man?
Oh my gosh, we have so much to discuss. And we know the future of the show in between part 1 and part 2. We know we're going to be going over every episode of Jujutsu Kaisen because Ace is fully indoctrinated into this new amazing anime.
I'm all caught up, man.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the Jujutsu Kaisen after show.
We're
here to talk about Gojo.
Half and half this week because I know you're caught up.
Part of me wants to, man. Let's do a separate video because I really do want to talk about the unveiling, I guess. I don't know what to call it, of last week's episode where Gojo shows up and they pull a Bruce Banner where it's like, you guys are in so much trouble now.
Yeah.
Just like bring me Thanos moment. I love it. And then the score is like techno and stuff, and I'm like, yo, let's go. It was amazing.
Just slaps him and like focus.
Yeah. Toto's a homie, bro. Toto's the homie, bro. I swear, I've known so many Totos in my lifetime, but he's still the homie.
He's so good.
We are obviously here to talk about Attack on Titan. This episode is called Guides. This episode was insane, packed with moment after moment. I feel like this was like 5 chapters or 5 books put into one episode because so much happened this episode to the point that I feel like this really was like the creative arts team taking this much of the manga and be like, all right, how do we do this in an episode?
Yeah.
And they just did it in an episode.
Yeah. And, I still do think there's going to be a part 2. And we were talking before this, possibly a movie with the success of the Demon Slayer movie, doing an entire arc. But this, they might be able to get everything done with how good they just condensed all this information into one episode. There's so much happened in this. Where do you want to start?
Let's start chronological, or at least try to. So we see Armin talking to Annie. He's saying he's trying to touch Annie and trying to see if he can get some memories from her or something. We see our first appearance, season 4 of Hitch, right?
Hitch?
We haven't seen Hitch in like ever.
We haven't seen Hitch since what's his name? She talked to the survivors of the raid.
Season 3 finale.
Yeah, season 3 finale. Yeah. So we haven't seen her in a minute.
And then we see Armin be his usual awkward self. It's crazy to think that he's the colossal Titan and he's all like, oh, I'm so sorry. Don't think I'm a creeper or weird. And I'm like, bro, you're the colossal, bro.
Yeah.
You can step on cities.
Both of them haven't changed at all. Hitch hasn't changed with hey, don't touch the girl. I know she's pretty, but and Armin, despite everything he's gone through, he really hasn't changed either. And so I'm wondering if he could get any Titan memories, or I saw our friend Takumai talking is this a little bit of Bertolt's memory with his love of Annie, kind of
theory. That's my theory.
Yeah.
I said that. What if it's Bertolt kind of reaching out through Armin somehow, subconsciously or something?
Yeah.
Either way, that leads us to the pivotal moment of the episode, which I feel like we can kind of jump to just because we didn't get too much from Annie there. Was Premier Zachary in the meeting he has with Armin and Mikasa. So once we get there, we see that Armin is like, hey, let's talk to Eren. Let me just talk to him. And Zachary is like, nope, you're not talking to Eren. And I'm watching the episode, and I don't know about you, Ben, but I'm screaming. I'm like, what? Please, literally just asking for a convo, man. We're not asking for anything else. You can send your guards with us if you want, but just give us a conversation. And then he doubles down. He's like, hey, man, I'm telling you, if you give me a chance to talk to Eren, I got you. Whatever he says to me, I'll say to you, I got you, bro. And he's like, nah, it's not happening. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, that's kind of unreasonable. And Armin says it for me because Armin says, oh, I get it. He's already made up his mind. He doesn't want Eren. He doesn't want Eren to have the Founding Titan at all because he can't control Eren. So he's already made up his mind. They've given up on Eren. They're going to give the Founding Titan to someone else. That's just facts. So, and then obviously from there, it leads to the explosion, which kills Premier Zachary. What do you think of that whole entire situation that went down?
I paused both times on the chair trying to figure out what that chair was. I don't know if
torture chair. Or...
I don't know if that was a torture chair or an injection chair for where they were going to put Eren, to have him get eaten,
a restraining chair somehow or something.
Something like that. But yeah, just like I was so confused with how, and I mean, I realize what Eren has done with like the kind of the corner they put the Islanders into, but like just it seems like almost the season 3 part 1 or almost like season 1 stuff where Zachary resided over Eren's future and decided to give him over to the scouts. But then as soon as something bad happened, like, nope, we need Eren. Like, we need Eren and we're going to kill him. And this seems like where we're at again. And it's such a great job because like at Marley, we're like, yeah, go Eren. And then we realized that Eren betrayed the scouts. And we're like, oh no, is Eren the antagonist now? And then now we're like, wait, why did the government already give up on their greatest weapon? Like, why? And so it's such a great job of going back and forth between the two ideologies and arguing the cases for both of them. But yeah, just for the fact, because the military is just like locking and deadbolting every door they can right now. They're locking up all the volunteers. They're trying to get rid of Eren. They're locking away Zeke. They've, hidden away Historia. They're like, we had a plan. Things have changed, so we just need to like just lock it down right now. Yeah. And you see later on, Pixis realized like we made mistakes. We should have done things differently, and now we've got to own up to that fact. All we can do is try and make up for it from here. But I do love just like the juxtaposing ideas almost week to week of like, oh, bad guy, good guy, bad guy. Like there's no black and white in the show at all. Everything is so gray.
It's much more political than ever before, considering now that Eldia or Paradise has the ability to be political. Back then, they didn't. All they had to do was like kill Titans, then we'll kill Titans, and then if we have time, we'll kill Titans. Like they just didn't have any other plan. But now it's like an actual political game, an actual game of war. Where they're not just at war with a blind zombie enemy. It's actually armies and politics and negotiations and all that stuff that they're kind of not used to. So that's why it makes it 10 times more complex of like, are we better off going along with Eren? Are we better off replacing Eren and trying to get something better? Should we go, see what Zeke is about? Should we kill Zeke? It's so many different questions that opens up, all leading to the same goal, but it's just different ways of going about it. It's 10 times more complex than we've had before, which is why the show's so good, man. It's not black and white. It's not like I have a foe in front of me and I'm going to use my Super Saiyan powers or whatever to like destroy them. No offense to other anime that I love, but like, it's not that simple. It's a lot more complex, which I love. But let's get to the second part or the second point of this episode, which is Yelena, who meets with Pixies and finally admits that she has had meetings with Eren, saying that she did kind of sort of convince Eren to go to Marley and kind of scope it out and listen to Zeke. And she also said she wanted Marley to suffer. What'd you think of that interaction and the idea that Onyo Kompon and all the rest of her crew didn't have any idea of it?
That's what I'm wondering, and I love the line, the last line of that scene where he's like, "Are you a good liar? Because good lies have some truth in them." Like Pixis is so smart, and
he's good, bro. He's good.
Going back to what you said, where like Erwin said it, where humanity is now going down a path, and he said humanity before he knew that they weren't the only people in the world, but he's like humanity's going down a path we've never gone down because our memories were always being erased, every 100 years or so. And even Pixis said it when they're like, no, like Yelena shouldn't be in this meeting. Like we can't give away these secrets. He's like, guys, we're babies. We just discovered the world. We literally just discovered the world like a year ago. So we do need other perspectives. We do need people to like teach us things, to inform us of things, because yes, we are scared because there's things we don't know, but we have to listen. Like, and that's the problem with this military is that maybe we don't like Zachary, but he's just trying to protect his people in this total foreign world. It's like if, I've been in this apartment for a year now, it's like, this is all I know. And then, once quarantine would end, like, oh, there's an entire Los Angeles around me. Okay. Of course I'd be like fearful and protective of everybody in my apartment. But going back to that conversation, Yelena's starting, like, she seemed like a very rational, smart person, and she's definitely very smart, but she seems more cultish every time
she's
we
more
talk
radical.
to her. She's definitely more radical every single time we talk to her. And the fact that she said like, oh no, I didn't even tell Eren to go do this. I just like gave him a nudge in the right direction, told him about Marley, probably told her what Eldians go through every single day in their entire life and how they're used for like cannon fodder and to like, charge machine guns and just be stacked of bodies in war. So I'm so torn of like what she's telling the truth on, what other volunteers did or did not know. Onyo Capone seems like he's on the level.
He seems like a real one.
Him and Hanji,
a real one, bro.
That's the ship right there. Him and Hanji, that's the ship right there. I need them to
I love Onyo Capone because he seems like the one. He's at the same motives as Yelena, but he feels to me like a little bit more sane. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a psycho. Like Yelena seems like a little psychotic, which is not necessarily good for someone who's going to be a leader. Versus Onyo Capone, who's her number 2. Who seems a little bit more balanced, where he's like, yeah, I just want freedom, but damn, like she would take heads and kill people for fun. Like,
yeah, when he was talking about that, so was she killing other volunteers or was she killing Marleyans? Yeah, she was killing other Eldians, right?
Yeah, he said that she killed our comrades that didn't believe in her, I think is what he said. So anyone who kind of questioned her authority, she ended up killing. And like accidental murders or something like that. But he knew about it because he kind of went along with it, I guess is what he was saying. But at least we get confirmation that he's a real one. For now, I'll watch Onyo Capone be a triple agent. I hope not, but part of me was like, I couldn't take it, man. I was like, bro, he's a real one.
Right. He does seem like a real one. And you're absolutely right where he wants Eldia's freedom. And I think he believes like in the rumbling because I think they all do just because they've seen firsthand for their entire lives the treatment they've gotten and they just don't see any other way. But he doesn't worship Zeke as a god. He doesn't worship Eren as a god and believe they're like these, holy deities that can rescue them. He's like, no, like they can control this. Then yeah, that's our best option. But if there's any other options, I'm willing to listen to them. And I think that's where going back to where Eren is, like Eren I don't think he doesn't want to do the rumbling, but he was hoping someone was going to give him an out in those 3 years they had, and they didn't. And then once Yelena came and said, Zeke's out there. He wants the same thing as you. There's the rumbling. This is what we're going through on the mainland. What can you do about it? And then here we are today.
Yeah, there's so many layers to it that's why this episode was so interesting because we got to see a little bit of each layer. I actually want to go back to the first major moment of this episode because I see a comment for Tim Ong in the chat who says, is it me or did the crowd chanting dedicate your hearts turn into a nationalist chant? You know what's funny, man? I saw that scene and it was so eerie to hear Erwin's favorite line, my favorite character, Shinzo Sasageo, turn into kind of like an eerie, like evil chant. Like not evil, but it felt like kind of like sadistic. And I was like, this sounds kind of psychotic right now, guys. Like y'all are sounding a little too.
It's crazy nationalist. To think. Yeah, it's a very like I don't want to use the word cult, but yeah, very radical chant. But also
it was eerie. It was just eerie.
It's crazy to think the people are cheering in favor of Zeke Jaeger, who killed Erwin, who made that chant.
Sure, like, it's more cheering for Eren, but you're right. Eren and Zeke are in accord, so I guess you're right. They're cheering for him too. That's a very good point. But also, it felt kind of eerie to hear as an audience, and I really hope that people kind of get that because I feel like some people might not get it. I love watching reaction videos and seeing people react to it and be like, yeah, Eren, kill more people, kill more aliens and Marlies. And I'm like, bro, no, that's not it. That's not don't get me wrong. Like part of me is like, eventually you might have to reach a certain point. It's like, we're probably going to be team Eren. But right now we have to realize like there's a little bit more to this. And I feel like that chant and the way it was said wasn't supposed to be audiences at home watching, doing the chant along with us and being like, Shinzo. It was supposed to be like, oh, this feels wrong. Like it just feels like it's not good.
With Zachary's body right there. Like it wasn't, they read about the explosion.
So dark because you see his dead body there.
It just happened like right then and there. Like they didn't care that 4 people had just died.
It felt like the wrong moment to see whether you like Zachary or not, because it could be debatable that Zachary was kind of a psycho too and deserved to die.
I mean, we saw what he did to the the Royals.
He's
last
a torturer.
Year.
Like homie's a torturer, bro. Like low key, he deserved to die.
Yeah, he
like
wasn't
low key. I was like, bro, you're a torturer, man. Like people who torture for fun. Like, yeah, y'all deserve to die.
Yeah, he was.
No
he
offense.
Was giving him butt chugs and stuff like that. He's not the most sane, rational person. But yeah, just in that moment, just like to take this moment and like flipping it on its head, just right there in the face of his.
It was cool because it felt like raw and real and kind of like it really made you question like what is a side to begin with, like. And we'll get to that in the finale, in the final moments of the episode with Mikasa, kind of her dealing with it now that she's dealt firsthand with what happens to it. But that kind of leads us to what happens in the middle of this episode, which leads us to our epic moment that you could see as our background right now. And that is Eren finally putting on a shirt. Damn it. Finally. Jesus, Eren, trying to make us look bad and trying to make us feel bad? Come on now, bro.
Can I?
You can't keep up with your anime abs.
Right? Just like the way he puts, like, I love that the Jaegerists don't bring him a shirt. They just bring him like this badass cloak jacket with a hood that he's like, whew.
I still love, bro. I love it. I tweeted this out. I got 1 like, but I'll take that 1 like. Where it's like Eren breaks out of prison and he's walking towards his new, army that thinks he's a god. And he's like, what have you brought me? And they're like, we've brought you a damn shirt. Put a shirt on, bro. And it's like he puts on the coat. It's a coat that he puts on. That's what they brought him as like a gift.
They don't even bring him shoes.
Not
they
even
just bring
shoes.
him that cloak.
Just a shirt. Just be like, bro, cover up, man. Trying to make me look bad in front of my girl, bro. Come on.
Now, do you think we can talk about Eren breaking out? Do you think that every guard in the prison revolted, or do you think because he had the Titan lines on him? So do you think like he broke out violently?
Oh, wow. I didn't even consider how he broke out because you're right. He did have, man, you're smarter than me because I kept thinking about how he got Flock out and how he got everyone else out. But I thought that might've been easy, but how many people died while he broke out? Like probably a few guards had to die, right?
That's what I'm wondering because they say that like 100 soldiers defected and, so he's got a pretty sizable group behind him. So I'm wondering if just like all the prison guards were like, you're right. Let's go.
Yeah. Part of it has to be that. But again, I don't know if you would see the lines if that was the case, right? It would be a little bit more peaceful if he broke out easily. But yeah, eventually we get Niall officially confirming, Niall being the head of military police, homie, who used to be friends with Erwin. He confirmed that they're called the Jaegerists. I just noticed your name, by the way. We live in a Jaeger society. Yeah, that is absolutely true. God Eren has appeared. God Eren has arrived. I think I'm calling him God Eren now because he literally has his own cult army.
Yeah. What do you think about them being led by Flock?
I low-key love it. Love it. I think Flock has reached a different level, bro. Flock is at a level now where he's just like, bro, I'm not even Flock anymore. I'm like, call me Mr. Eren number 2 or something. Like, he's not even Flock anymore. He's just...
Again, it's so surprising that Flock, who is the only survivor of that suicide charge, who Zeke massacred them all. Now Flock is the number 1 because Flock knows. Flock, like, he's not the public. He was
an Erwin homie. He loved Erwin.
Yeah, he loved Erwin. He wanted him to come back.
So Erwin could kill everyone.
Because he thought
Erwin could kill
a devil.
everyone.
Yeah, he's like, we are fighting devils. We need our own devil. But I'm so surprised that Flock is this dude because he knows the Zeke plan. Like he was there in the airship. He knows they kidnapped Zeke, and maybe doesn't know like the extent of everything they're doing, but I think he knows about the rumbling. He knows they have Zeke. So I'm so surprised that he's on board. So like, I'm not surprised he's on board with Eren's side, but I'm like surprised he's so on board with like Zeke being a part of it so much.
I just think he sees Zeke as a pawn. I think he sees Eren as a god who's literally having all these Titan powers, and that Zeke is just another pawn in his game where he's literally like, hey, I'm just worshiping the god, bro. Like, I'm literally following the one homie who can take down the planet. I'm not doing anything that shocking. It's the whole like Injustice Superman kind of thing where
it really is.
It's like, let's follow Superman because he's literally the most powerful being. He knows what he's doing. That's kind of where Flock is at.
He found his new devil. Like he didn't get Erwin as the devil to beat the devils, and he's found Zeke.
Yeah, and he's found Eren, who's now
Yeah.
like at a different level now, who's like completely ripped, and he's like, bro, put a damn coat on. That's why I brought you.
Hey, man, he built that railroad. He deserves to be shirtless for a while.
That's true, bro. Like, low key, part of me is like, I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, if I look like Eren, I might be shirtless a lot too.
Oh my God.
To be fair.
You couldn't get me on,
to be fair.
Get me on a Zoom call because I'd just be shirtless the whole time. Like,
yeah. I'd be like, what's up, guys? How's it going, guys?
If I had an anime body, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Over there. Let's go over here. Follow me.
Oh my God. It'd be insane.
Yeah.
You'd hate
I would love it, man. Yeah. Either way, that leads us to the emergence of the Jaegerists, who are now in the middle between the Survey Corps, military police, and the garrison. And now we see Pixies take supreme command, which I love Armin be like, hey, you be the leader. And he's like, sure. By the way, that's a good choice by Armin and a good choice by Pixies to say yes. But I feel like that moment was such a cool moment to see them debating in front of Azuma Bitu, who the military police assistant, whatever that guy is, Noeg, whatever his name is.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Be like, hey, by the way, the vast majority of these Jaegerists come from the Survey Corps. They come from your unit, Hanji. And Hanji being like, yeah, that's kind of shitty. That's kind of a bad look. Yeah, it's a bad look. And I love how that is like a moment where she has to kind of deal with that, but she says, I'll deal with it later, where the Survey Corps has kind of been harboring these extremists who have kind of worshipped Eren, who now, when were so pushed down and oppressed and considered to be the weirdos who were like searching for freedom and truth and justice and the Eldian way, and now the Survey Corps is taking that a little too far, with most people in their unit kind of joining Eren. And it's like that question of like, is this group I'm a part of kind of lenient and tolerant towards people who might be a little psycho and might be a little too aggressive towards mass murder? And I love that thought. I love it because it really presents a different issue and a different conversation for the Survey Corps. I don't know what you think of that, because I thought that was like, wow.
It's like this double-edged sword where if you're going to have a unit that is always putting their life on the line, while, we've had the whole show where like the military police is, being corrupt and, filling their own pockets and relaxing and stuff like that. We have this thing that's been putting their lives on the line for humanity, not even knowing what they're doing. They're just like, well, we have to go kill this Titan. We're going to try and make a base outside the wall. Okay, that lost. Okay, we're going to do, the 57th expedition. It's going to last half an hour, and then, 50 people are going to die. And then they have discovered nothing. And then suddenly you have them and you're discovering things. Then yes, like the people that are leading these discoveries, they're going to have different like states of mind, different viewpoints. And they might be radical. They might be like, well, we know more than you. And this is how we feel because we're the ones doing the work. We're the ones putting the right thing, like our lives on the line every single time we go outside these walls. So we might not have the same viewpoint as you.
Yeah. And what I do love is the idea of Pix's first command as like Supreme Commander, or as Premier, I guess is his new title, is literally, he was like, let's go along with Eren. And Armin thinks that's a joke, but he's like, no, like Eren literally has all the power. He has all the cards. The only card we have is Zeke's location. Let's negotiate. Like, we're at a point now where if Eren is really this powerful, and if Eren really is our only option, let's find a way to work with him. And I actually like that. I like that because I was like, yeah, he might be right. Like maybe Eren is a tad more violent, a lot more violent, but at least he presents an option towards you and you can negotiate your terms of the deal as far as like, hey, Eren, you could do this, this, and this, but maybe don't kill too many people, or maybe don't do this. And I love Pixie's like right there showed me his command where I was like, that's a good commander. That's a good leader who sees the cards and he's like, you know what? Let's not lose like our entire lives in a civil war against the god. Let's try and negotiate with this guy and see what his plan is going to be, because we know Zeke's location. He doesn't. Let's try to meet in the middle. So
yeah, he's thinking long term because he knows the entire world is coming. Yeah, they think they have 6 months, and we found out at the end of this episode they don't. So he's like, it doesn't really matter. Like he wanted to open a trade. He wanted to sit down at a negotiation table, but he's like, in the end, we always knew we were going to have to fight. We were just trying to avoid that. We both know that Eren's end goal is to destroy Marley, and Zeke's end goal, we just wanted to do it differently because we don't trust Zeke. We wanted control of the Beast Titan. We want control of the Founding Titan. So we wanted to do things our way. That didn't work out, but we might be able to win a fight against Eren, but it will cost us our entire military. So even if we beat Eren, then Marley's going to come beat Eren because we won't have an army supporting him. Yeah. So he's just like, let's just give in. We have one card to play, and that's or two cards to play. We have location of Historia, location of Zeke, and that's it. So if we use these things to at least just settle them things down, like, the tensions are rising, the blood is starting to boil, settle these things down and just talk rather than just like go straight to arms. And that's, like I said, they are literally, maybe they're teeny boppers of the world. They're trying to figure out like this geopolitical landscape that we're all in now that they've been thrown into without their knowledge. And it's like you're getting tossed into a game of dodgeball where everyone's aiming at you already. And you're like, wait, what am I playing? Who's on my team? What are the rules? And everyone else knows the rules and they're all against you already. So they're always trying to play catch up. Like we can't afford a civil war. We don't have the army. We have Azuma B2 trying to help us out. But if we have a civil war and we decimate all of our trade value, they're not going to help us. There goes our army. So Pixis is thinking the long game. And I'm glad he came in, and he's the one that, saved Eren's life by being, like stopping the military police from bombing him. He's always been this rational guy where even he's like, if Eren was wrong about what the council was going to do when they announced that the wall rose had been broken, he would have hung Erwin. He'd be like, okay, you're wrong, so you're going to die for trading us in. So he's always been so rational, and yet he's like that wild card. He's humanity's wild card, and I think he's going to play a huge part in the next few episodes.
He really is like the wise old man of the show, because we've gotten used to, or at least I've gotten used to, Erwin being like the most powerful, smartest leader in the show by a mile, by a lot. And he's like, he's not young, but he's not an older dude. He's not an old man versus someone like a Pixies who presents a little bit more of a center point of view, I guess, of a more balanced perspective, of a more like a let's wait kind of guy because he is older, versus Erwin being a little bit more gung-ho and being a little bit more straightforward, which made him a great leader, but it also cost him, a lot of lives in the process. But I really do feel like Pixies is that kind of underrated leader character in the show, because there is a lot. Obviously Captain Levi and Hanji and Erwin, as I said before, but I feel like Pixies has always been the guy in the background who's like, I'm actually the one who's like been the bridge in this whole thing. So it's great. It was cool to see him take complete control and say, hey, military police, go protect Historia. And hey, Survey Corps, go protect Zeke. Those are our two options. We have my two branches of the military, and then the garrison will just take care of the rest. So I feel like that option really presents something really interesting and really well. Let's quickly go to the next part. The Azuma B2 interaction between her and Mikasa, where she admits that she's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm greedy. I want money, but the reason why I want money is to help my people. And that doesn't take away from the fact that I still respect you and your family and your clan. And eventually we do want you to lead us, regardless of what happens. What'd you think of that quick interaction between her realizing her culture and the way she was brought up kind of clashing right there?
She's doing what she needs to, honestly, because she knows like the importance of Mikasa, like culturally, and not like a legend, but like folklore types kind of stuff with like what her name represents. But also she's not dumb. She knows money runs the world. And so she's like, of course, like I wanted to trade with you guys because that is our business, is trade. But I want you to be the symbol of our people because you are our leader. You are like one of the founding members of our people. And I want you to come back with us. So more than one thing can be true. Yeah. But I do love Mikasa's answer where it's just like, I'm not interested in that. Like we need to deal with what's in front of us. And then like, she doesn't say that, but she's probably like, and then maybe I can, we'll talk about that, but she's not running from this fight because like the Azuma B2 is like, if things go bad, go to my boat. And she's like, no, If things go bad, I'm going to be in the middle of it trying to stop it.
Yeah, it definitely is an interesting perspective as far as like we don't know maybe where this is going to lead to. As far as like maybe does she embrace her culture by the end of the manga, at the end of the series, where she says, hey, you know what, LD has been fun and Paradise has been fun, but let me go back to Hizuru and see what my people are all about. Maybe it's up to her, really, and that's what's cool about it, is that it is up to her.
I'm hoping that's what happens. Like,
Me too.
if everybody, like, you know, heaven forbid everybody dies, but like if everybody, you know, if Eren dies, Armin dies, everybody dies, but Mikasa gets to live in Hizuru and like actually have a life for once, that'd be the happy ending out of, you know, all the death and sadness that is definitely coming.
So I have a question, and I really, obviously, guys, we are not manga readers, so please chat. Whoever's here, don't spoil us. If you had to pick one homie to have a happy ending.
Oh my God.
One, to be like, they have peace and they live happily ever after in the show, and everyone else just dies.
I think it's a toss up between Historia and Mikasa. Because Historia like has had
Historia, that's gonna be a little hard. She already lost a mirror.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's tough. Like, and that's the thing, like she literally lost the love of her life and
killed her dad.
and being forced to breed like a, you know, a royal bloodline baby that's just gonna get sacrificed as a titan. So those two, Historia or Mikasa. Everyone else, like, I feel like has their part to play. And while I'd love to see them survive, obviously I can see them having very admirable deaths and like living full lives for it. But I do think like Mikasa and Historia have both had their lives more so taken away from them than like, I mean, like Eren and, you know, they've made like these conscious choices. Like obviously the wall falling down there's nothing they can do. Armin lost his grandparents and his parents. Like, so everyone has their tragic beginnings, but those are the two that, what about you?
Man, it's tough, right? Because part of me wants to go to the side characters, but at the same time, I have to acknowledge that they don't have as much there. Like someone like a Jean, for example, who's probably my favorite character right now during the show. Jean, because I still think Jean could kick ass and have a long life. Like even Connie was like, bro, like if you really think you're that talented, you deserve to have a long life. And I agree with Connie there. And then part of me goes to like someone like a Hanji or a Hanji and an Onyo Kompon. Onyo Kompon and Hanji.
I love it.
There, that's my choice.
The thing is that there's no wrong answers. Like if you said anybody, I'd be like, yeah, they deserve it. Like everyone deserves a happy ending in the show, and that's the beauty of the show.
Falco, we haven't even mentioned Falco.
Yeah,
Falco would be a good one. But that kind of leads us to our last point in the episode, which is Hanji saying, hey, before we do anything with Zeke, I kind of want to check in on what Yelena was planning, because she said she hated Marlians, but she put him in interesting job positions.
Yes.
And she mentioned Nicolo's restaurant. And she said, I wonder why Yelena did that. Why would she put them in these kind of jobs? And then I'm going to go investigate that, which obviously leads us to our next episode. But it's that idea of what Nicolo was doing as he was poisoning that. We still don't know what kind of poison or what.
I'm okay with just calling it poisoning until we
poisoning, something the wine out of those people, the military police during the restaurant that night. And it's also the idea of Yelena fighting for the rights of Marlians, but secretly despising them all along. So maybe she was planning to use them as pawns somehow. I don't know. What did you read into that as far as what Hanji was saying?
I think they're definitely like the way that Eldians, you know, get thrown in the front lines of war just as cannon fodder. I think she's using Marlians to do the same thing. I think she's like, oh, I didn't. None of the volunteers poisoned the military police. It was all the Marlians, because the Marlies are the evil ones, guys. Come on, let's rally together. That can easily be the case with this. And I'm still like, we got a shot of that wine bottle in the preview. So, and you know, we saw at the end that Sasha's family's there at that restaurant with Gabby and Falco. So that's coming to a head. I think we're going to finally find out what's been put in that wine. If it's poison, if it's Titan juice, if it's just if it's just NyQuil, we don't know. But yeah, just Yelena is playing chess right now. She is playing she's radical for sure, but when it comes to planning, she's no joke at all. And so she has strategically put these people in years. This thing, like I know like we keep forgetting it's been like a 4-year time jump, so years in advance of them, like, because you know if you hire your national enemy at a job, you're going to keep an eye on them. But it's been years enough to where, like, yeah, they can go get a bottle of wine and no one says anything. Like, oh yeah, go get this wine. You know, we're not going to check it before we drink it. So like it's just like so much planning.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting as far as what's going to happen there with Nicolo. But then it kind of leads to Undercover Boss Part 3 with Peak.
Oh my God, dude!
At the ending there, looking like a whole village person.
You got to be reading the paper if you're undercover in Attack on Titan. Apparently,
true. Just that we found out that was John.
Yeah,
but Peak is undercover already. Like, how does she get there so quick? Does she fly? Like,
I don't know. I was so surprised. Like when they focused, I was like, "Who's that?" I literally said there. I was like, "They're already there."
Yeah,
like,
How did they get there so fast? Like that was like maybe a couple days, and you're telling me she got to the island, to that town, and infiltrated the town. Like, watch her be like, she's so like undercover cop that she's like
walls.
Has like a boyfriend already or a husband.
Now, yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you think all the villages and stuff are still in the walls, or do you think they've expanded outside the walls? Because I mean, we know they've gotten rid of all the Titans, but do you think they've still got all the towns inside the walls, like, you know, for like Marley security reasons?
I think most of them are.
Okay,
yeah, I
think so. She's in the walls, so she passed. Like, she must have passed
at least
some kind of
a wall.
Yeah, at least
she passed at least a wall.
Yeah,
which is already kind of impressive to see. I guess if you're a cart, you can move really fast because you're on all fours and you just like sprint. I don't know, like a cheetah or something. And she has like Reiner and Galliard on her back, and she's just going as fast as she can because she's on all fours. I don't know. All I know is that was fast, and it really makes you feel like crap. Like, what is she going to do, number one? Because part of me feels like the Jaegerist angle of this really throws like a wrench into everything that's happening in Paradise now, right? Because before you would be like, dude, Eren versus Cart, like Eren would just step on her. Like, it's ridiculous. But now that Eren is doing his own thing and he's out there with his Jaegerists, like, she can kind of like, I don't know, infiltrate the garrison and get Pixies and kill Pixies. Like, she could kill Pixies in the matter of seconds. And no one can do anything because it's not like Pixies has a Titan protecting him. And it's not like the garrison is that impressive of a unit to take down the Cart or Reiner or someone like that. Like, I could easily see a situation where Peak reaches Historia before everyone else. Peak and Reiner or Peak and Galliard reach Historia before everyone else. Before even Eren, all she has to do is get to Pixies undercover, get that information, and then get that, or get to the military police. Maybe she goes straight to the military police. Either way, she doesn't have to go through Eren necessarily to get her mission or her side of the mission done, which presents like a kind of a conundrum for the Paradise people. It actually is a threat.
She is. Like, she's not the biggest threat as a pure Titan form, but just the fact that the entire island's in turmoil. People are revolting against the military police. They don't, like, the military doesn't know who they can trust, who's a Jaegerist, who's, I guess a loyalist, if you want to call them that. So like if they were a totally united front against what is coming, it'd be different. They'd be like, okay, we're watching everything. If someone pops up, we'll squish it out real quick.
Yeah.
But now with everyone, like, like that, the office meme of everyone like pointing their guns at each other. Yeah. Everyone's doing that right now. Then obviously like any enemy can infiltrate very easily. And she could find Historia. I don't know what their reaction is going to be when they find Zeke. And where's Reiner and Galliard? Because I think Galliard could probably still move around because I don't think they ever saw him outside the Titan. But I don't think Reiner could move around the island at all.
I mean, I think he can. Definitely not around military people, but like around village folk, I doubt they know their faces. Yeah. But around military people, you're right. He probably couldn't. He's probably like wearing a hat. If you wear a hat and glasses, it's over. No one knows who you are.
he's got to get the Marvel hat and the Marvel glasses, and then it's game over.
It's game over, bro. He's a new person. But when it comes to like these kind of cards that are now being played, I really do feel the Titan the Eren Jaegerist of it all kind of throws the military out of balance and
Absolutely.
doesn't have that protection of like God Eren protecting everyone, where now she could go straight to the military police, wipe out the military police, and just get Historia or something like that. I see her being that smart and figuring out a way to bypass, Armin and Levi and Eren and all the elite warriors and just go straight to like military police to Historia.
And she's got to be smart because she doesn't have her, her machine gun crew with her. So she's there probably like for speed and for like information transport now.
She's the getaway car.
She is. And, Zeke used her to get away and Sheena, and, to carry Bertolt and boulders around and everything. So I'm curious of like what their plan is and where Reiner and Galliard, because if it's just them three, they can do some damage, but I think like they can't, overthrow. They can't win the war. They can't like those three can't win the war with everything that Paradise has now. But they could do some damage. So people are saying like if it's just for them to rescue Falco and Gabby, I think it's possible. But I think they also want to grab Zeke to take him back and be like, you need to answer for your crimes.
I think they want to get the X cards, right? I mean, the X cards, the X factors, the Ace cards. I don't know.
I know what you meant.
They want to get Historia and Zeke, in my opinion, because they know that without them, they're kind of screwed. They can't do the rumbling without them, right? I mean, think about it. If you don't have that royal blood of Zeke and Historia, or just Historia, because Zeke's going to die anyway, you can kind of assume that's their plan, or at least I would assume that's their plan.
Yeah,
I would assume Falco and Gabby are like plan like A and B, or like that's like plan B, or like that's part of the plan. Maybe it's like I go here, you go there. Maybe Colt is doing that on his own. I think he can handle that probably.
And to me, this proves that Reiner was just bullshitting the Marley military when he was like, well, we can't land here because that's where we all got destroyed, but we can't land on the north side because there's the cliffs there, and we can't land on the... So he knew how to get into the island. Yeah. He knew exactly where to go to infiltrate that place.
Now all those guys are dead.
Yes.
All those guys who were questioning Reiner and he was kind of trolling them, they're all dead.
They're all dead.
So now he could be straight up with Magath and be like, yeah, Magath, by the way, it's through here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it changes when it's Falco and Gabby for Reiner, because I think he actually does care about his actual cousin, Gabby.
Absolutely.
Like he loves Gabby.
I just I that's what I said. I was like, the only, like, Reiner had officially given up on the fight. Like he was like, just let me die. He only transformed to save Galliard. And I was like, the only thing that's going to get him back in this fight is to find Falco and Gabby. And that's what it is.
He even said it. He said, let's rescue Falco and Gabby. And that's why he wanted to go back. I'll never forget that scene, man. It's episode 2 of season 4 when he's going around through the kids. Like he's like Papa Reiner, and all the little kids come up to him and he's like, Zofia, Udo, Gabby, Falco, and he's like doing it and his like deep voice. I was like, bro, he's like a dad Reiner.
Oh, he is. He absolutely is. Like he was about to kill himself, and then he heard their laughter, and he was like, no, they're the reason why I have to keep going.
Yeah, that's why I like Reiner, and obviously we'll see what happens to Reiner in the end. But obviously, our final thing before we go is the idea of hopefully we do get a part 2. I think we have to. I saw someone in the comment section be like, there has to be a part 2.
There has to be. Either, and the only reason I brought up a movie was because like Demon Slayer did it with like the train thing, and it was like the most successful movie in Japan's history. Yeah. So, and also like, we were talking about it before. I just don't want manga spoilers. I want another 10 episodes. I'd love another 10. 10 weeks of this goodness would be amazing. But if it's just like, I'm just worried about being spoiled. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But yeah, we're definitely getting some kind of part 2, whether it's a movie, whether it's a season, we're getting a part 2 because there's no way they can wrap it up. Was this episode 12? Yeah. 4 episodes? No way. 2 hours? Get out of here.
Yeah, there's no way, because I really do feel like pacing is something that Attack on Titan is like king at. And I mean king level stuff where they're so good at pacing it as far as not rushing. This episode was the quickest episode I've seen. And even I was like, it's still kind of perfectly paced. It's quick, but it never rushes. It never rushes. And I feel like a movie might be a little rushed, if I'm being honest. And I love the kind of spreading out and letting the score kind of rise and stuff. The way they do it is so well. But we'll see. If it is, I think it'll be, if it's going to be a classic, it will be maybe 8 episodes, classic 24 episodes. If it's classic, right? The seasons of anime are usually
I'd be
24.
good with that. I'd be good with another. I think 8 episodes would be perfect after this.
Everyone watching, everyone in the chat, you guys are amazing. You did not spoil a single thing for me, and I'm happy.
Thank
if you guys are new, subscribe to First Cut. We're going to keep doing some anime stuff. We might do some Jujutsu Kaisen stuff in the future because I am a Gojo stan. Shout out to my boy Gojo. I love that guy. Satoru. He is my homie.
Dude, we definitely need to find time to talk about that.
I love it, man. And I love Mika. Mika's my girl. All the homies from Jujutsu Kaisen is now like my favorite anime right now, besides Attack on Titan, obviously.
Yeah.
Either way, guys, where can everyone find you, Ben?
Everywhere at the Ben Goddard, Twitch, Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm at Squad Leader Race, guys. You can follow me there for more Attack on Titan memes and more Attack on Titan tweets. I will be tweeting there, so be sure to follow me there. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about Jujutsu Kaisen as well. Subscribe to First Cut, as I said before, and subscribe to our YouTube, not our YouTube channel, our Twitter, which is at First Cut TMO. Either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we're peacing out. Peace.
Peace.